What's up? This is the Adams Boxing End of Year Show with Punchlines Podcast. We are the official podcast of Adams, like I said, number one boxing boot in the business. Today, we're joined by another content creator, friend of mine. Check him out on Instagram. He's the Boxing Syndicate, all one word. He posts highlights, reels of all the fights from old, fights from now. He just puts a lot of love in the sport. He's got TikTok as well, TBS Boxing. He's joining us out of Detroit, Michigan. He's my boy TJ. What's up, dude? How you doing?
What's going on, bro? What's going on? I appreciate you for having me on. I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. I'm glad to have you on. I love people who post the highlights. You know, it's so cool because that's the best part about boxing is the fight. You know, so people who like show love to the fights and always promote it, I'm grateful for because you could sit for hours and just watch boxing clips. So I appreciate what you do, man. And I'm glad we get to talk about boxing a little bit today. I don't really get to, we're an interview-based show, so I don't really get to just sit down and talk boxing as like a fan that often. So I'm always grateful for this. We're going to be doing a little like end of year awards, your own personal awards and everything like that. And then what we're looking forward to 2023. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's get it. Let's do it.
All right, let's start off with 2022. Let's wrap this year up. And we got a lot of good things of the year. We got fight, fighter, KO, upset. Lots of good fights this year, man. I wouldn't say it was as good as last year because 2021 was pretty special for boxing. But this year we've had at least 4 amazing fights that I can name off the top of my head. A lot that deserve to be fight of the year. But what's your personal pick?
The fight of the year? Fight of the year, I think I went with Erickson Lubin and Fundora, but I also love the Katie Taylor and Amanda Soriano fight. Obviously, that was like a big, huge, historic fight for women's boxing. But going back to the Erickson Lubin and Steven Fundora fight, I just thought that was just action packed the whole time. They both dropping each other. Lubin's face at the end looked crazy. Looked like the Martin guy. You know what I mean? Looked like the Martin character. You ever seen that episode?
Fucking Will Smith when he was allergic to bees and shit in Hitch.
Yeah. So I just thought that fight was action packed, and I thought that was just probably for me the best fight of 2022 men's. And then obviously, like I said, the Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano for the women's side.
Yeah, and that was 2 fights that were in that previously mentioned like 5 great fights off the top of my head. That Serrano Taylor fight was because they both showed up and showed out. And they fought there. Like Serrano had her hurt multiple times, and Katie just still found a way to fight back. Regardless of who you thought won, it was still a fantastic fight. And then that Fundora Lubin fight, yeah, that shit was action packed. Neither of them took a step back. In the end, a lot of people were mad at Lubin and Lubin's trainer for stopping the fight, but like, homie was hurt, man. Like,
come on now, he was. I thought it was a good stoppage. Honestly, he did what he could do. He fought his ass off. You know what I mean? He didn't show any like it was no reason for him to hold his head. You know what I mean? Basically, is what I'm trying to say, because he went out there, like I said, and fought his ass off. He just went against a crazy talented Fundora who's just so happens to be 7 feet tall and likes to fight on the inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, modern day
so
Paul
it's crazy.
Williams.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Yeah, that was his coming out party too. That was we had 2 of those this year because when Frank Martin, he just beat the hell out of Rivera. Similar thing, just this one guy. He had everything. Like he had all the visuals of this could be a contender or a champion one day, but then to actually go out there and cement it, because that was a very that was a big coming out party for him.
Yeah, Michelle Rivera is not a lack of an opponent. Like Michelle Rivera can fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's very
and Frank Martin just came out on point with everything. He just looked, it was just a great night for him. I think he could have beat a lot of guys that night. You know what I mean? A lot of guys at 135. Yeah.
Oh, and it's crazy too, because if you look at a lot of the young guys, he's obviously better than Rivera. Rayo just lost. He's better than Rayo.
Yeah.
I would say he's better than Rolly at this point. That's a good fight.
I think that's a great fight. Possibly next, but I would say the same. He's better than Rolly.
Yeah, and Cruz. Ooh, I don't know. Cruz comes forward, but I think Frank is a better boxer, and I think he has enough power to get Cruz to kind of respect him a little bit too at the same time. But that'd be a tough fight for both of them.
Yeah, that would be a tough fight. I think Isaac Cruz is a tough fight for anybody at 130 to 135 range. Just like you said, he comes forward, he's trying to knock something out. He's trying to knock your head off the whole time. So I think him applying that pressure is a problem for anybody. But like you said, Frank Martin, I think he just outboxed him, pretty much try to put on a similar performance he did against Michelle Rivera. Obviously, it wouldn't be the same style of fight because Isaac would be moving in a lot closer, applying a lot more pressure. But I think Frank outboxes him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be a fight very similar to like when Brandon Figueroa fought Stephen Fulton.
Yeah.
I think Martin has more power than Fulton at his weight class, pound for pound, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Frank Martin, he had a great year. Huge coming out party there at the end. I wouldn't say he's the fighter of the year where we're going to next. So who's your personal fighter of the year?
I had Bivol, man. I think Bivol really came out and had a great year. Obviously, the win over Canelo, that was obviously huge for him and the sport because nobody, a lot of people had Canelo coming in and winning. Obviously, he was moving up in weight to 175. So me personally, or a lot of people that know the sport or follow the sport heavily, they probably, we probably were like, this is going to be tough for Canelo. But a lot of people, had Canelo winning that fight. But Bivol went out there and probably won 9 rounds. You know what I mean? So
I gave him 9 when I watched it. I gave him 9.
Yeah, so he probably went out there and won 9 rounds, and then he came and then beat Zurdo. You know what I mean? Just dismantled Zurdo. So I thought Bivol had a really great year. So that's why I went with Bivol on that one.
Yeah, it's really hard not to give it to him. Like I'm not surprised at all when everybody says that's who their fighter of the year is. But yeah, he fought Canelo and he fought Gilberto Ramirez, and Ramirez was undefeated. And it's not like everybody thought when he moved up to 175, they thought this is a guy that could legitimately probably take the belts off of Bivol and Beterbiev. And Bivol beat them both like decisively, easily. Yeah, so there's I would say he won 20 of the 24 rounds that they fought. But
definitely.
Yeah, I don't even disagree with you in the slightest. Both fights though were decisions. He kind of lacks the knockout power that Beterbiev has. Most people do though. Like Beterbiev has an ungodly knockout power.
Right. I think he's still 100%, right?
Yeah, and fucking destroyed Joe Smith in what was it, the second or the third round?
Bro, whoop Joe, bro.
From like 30 seconds to a minute in of the fight, from there on, it was one of the, dude, it was sad. It was sad to watch a grown man, because Joe Smith is big as fuck, and he hits hard.
Joe Smith's a big boy, yeah.
It was like remember when did you remember the original Mortal Kombat movie in 1995?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Remember when Goro fucked that black dude up, just killed him?
Yeah.
That was like watching Beterbiev and Smith. Beterbiev just fucking nothing. Like it was nothing.
Man, and then Joe Smith, a lot of people look at Joe Smith like that American dude, big, strong, hardworking guy, probably going to be able to withstand a lot of, punishment, but he was not able to last at all. I thought he was going to be able to last a little bit longer than he did, for sure.
Yeah, I thought he would at least get Bivol to take a step back, bro.
Yeah.
Like Bivol just fucked him up. Oh yeah, sorry, Beterbiev. Sorry, Bivol beat the shit out of him too, though. But not like that, though. I would say though that knockout, is impressive as it was, it is a contender for knockout of the year. But do you have a different one for that?
For KO of the year?
Yeah,
I went with Plant Darrell. Yeah, and obviously I was a little biased for the fight because I'm a Michigan guy.
Yeah.
Anthony Darrell's from Flint, so I support all our guys. You know what I mean? I don't care who they fight. And if Tony Harrison went to fight Canelo right now, I'm picking Tony just because I'm supporting my guy. You know what I mean? But I obviously, I knew what the possibilities were for Anthony Darrell, you know what I mean, and Caleb Plant. And I just thought that Caleb Plant just was on point. He looked really good. I think he's serious about trying to, fight these top guys at 168. I know he has a big, huge fight coming up. Me personally, I think,
yeah,
he got a big tough situation coming up. But I went with Clint Durrell. I thought that was a crazy hook, crazy left hook he put on Durrell, and you know what I mean. He did what he said he was gonna do.
Look, so I'm biased too. I'm a huge Caleb Plant fan. I'm a really big Caleb Plant fan. His
Yeah, I am
story,
too.
yeah, it's hard not to like him. His story, his boxing style, just his swag. Like the dude's got like legitimate swag.
Man.
But like you said, dude, like he's serious about it. Like he's got an attitude now because he took that Canelo fight, because before the Canelo fight, a lot of people didn't know. They were like, oh, he's got a padded record. He don't hit hard. And you know, he'll go out there and like fights to the level of his competition. And then he fought Canelo, and he fought Canelo a lot better than people. Like people thought Canelo was gonna walk through him. Canelo fans will tell you Canelo walked through him, but if you watch the fight, Caleb Plant was in that motherfucker, bro.
Hey, people had Caleb winning before he got stopped. Like, yeah, a lot of people did. Yeah.
And he's got a new trainer now with Breadman, who trains Stephen Fulton, who we just mentioned.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Bro, he looks so much better now. And he's got like, there's a lot of good things about him too. He's got a small circle. He's not out doing the most in the club and everything. He's got a small circle. He's extremely, like, even if he doesn't have a fight announced, he's always in the gym, you know, and he's got a good attitude about him. And he's given us fights that we want, like to call out David Benavidez, or one, no one else is doing. To actually sign up to fight him is definitely something no one else is doing. and to do it without a belt on the line, without crazy amounts of money on well, I don't know how much they're making, but it's not going to be as much as if, like, it's not much more than what he would make if he were to fight someone not as big. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, bro, like, fuck yeah, like, let's go. But and I think what you were saying, like, you knew the possibilities for Durrell going into that fight. Like, Caleb Plant should have been a sizable favorite in that fight, but I don't think anybody saw him knocking him out like that.
No.
Most people probably thought it was going to be a decision, but and it was crazy too, because it was right when the camera switched angles, and right when it switched angles, he throws that double left hook, and I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you could tell it was over as soon as he landed it too, because
he hit the ground.
Yeah, because Durrell did that thing where his whole body just slunk. Like there was no life in there. And what do you think about the Gravedigger? You think that was like poor sportsmanship, or you think for that fight specifically it was justifiable?
I think for this fight specifically, I'm gonna say it's justifiable only because the background behind the fight, they really just didn't like each other. It wasn't just business for them at one point, you know, at a certain point. It wasn't just business, you know what I mean? They were really going at each other. They were saying kind of some personal shit here and there, you know what I mean? So I think it was more heat of the moment. I don't think he was, you know, really, you know what I mean? Like, I hope this motherfucker's dead or anything like that. I think it was like more heat of the moment, you know what I mean? I told you what I'm gonna do, that kind of thing. I got my Freddy Krueger shit on, that type, you know what I mean? That type of thing.
And not just that too, but like 24 hours before that, Durrell was wearing a shirt with Caleb Plant's head cut off, bro.
Oh, you see what I'm saying? Shit got personal. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm like, I think it was justifiable for this. Like, and like I said before, like, I'm a Michigan guy. I root for all my Michigan guys, but you kind of set yourself up for that one. You know what I mean? You do certain shit, but before the fight, you know, because let's say Anthony Durrell knocks Caleb Plant out. What you think? What would he have done? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like he's gonna fucking bow to the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. So I had to kind of go along with Caleb on that one. I couldn't, you know, be mad at that one.
Yeah, and that was a great knockout too. And it was the fight right after that, Wilder versus Helenius, gave us two knockout of the year contenders. But I think the Caleb Plant one though is just like, it was a rivalry fight. It was an unexpected knockout, because I think most people thought Wilder was going to knock dude out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. You didn't know when it was coming, but it was coming for sure.
Dude, the over-under was 4.5 rounds. That's insane. Over-unders are usually like 10, 11, maybe, but fucking 4.5? Yeah. And Helenius, man, he's a tough son of a bitch and a good fighter, but he's just goofy, bro. Like, I didn't think, I was like, oh no, Wilder's gonna kill this guy.
I knew he was knocking him out, but I thought Helenius was gonna make it better only because he sparred with Wilder. He kind of been in the ring with him a lot, kind of knows. He spent the camp with him, you know. You kind of know what he's doing, but it just did not work out like that.
Yeah, and I think Wilder's another guy though, and it was hard to give him the credit. Like Caleb Plant goes out and scores a crazy double left hook knockout against Anthony Jarrell in spectacular fashion. His first fight with a new trainer, he gets all this praise, this new Caleb Plant, because Wilder's third fight with Fury was his first fight with Malik Scott. He didn't get as much credit, but he looked very improved in that fight. He just so happened to be fighting the best heavyweight. So for him to go out there again and like, yeah, Helenius has sparred with him before, but bro, those 10-ounce gloves,
different story.
And Wilder's just different, bro. I know he gets hated on a lot, but like that power is absurd.
Crazy.
It's scary. It's I think like, yeah, you got like the old head, like, you know, when people bring up LeBron and all the old dudes got to bring up MJ or fucking Wilt. Yeah. It's the same thing with Wilder. When you bring up Wilder's punching power, you know, all these Tyson fans and like George Foreman fans bring up his name. But for our era, yeah, I think it's almost indisputable. He's like the hardest hitting fighter that there is.
No doubt.
And then like, well, I mean, we could say Francis Ngannou, but obviously different sport, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no doubt. Who else in the boxing hits hard like that? I mean, I can't think of. I mean, I love Jared Anderson. I think Jared Anderson's coming up in 2, 3, 4 years. He may be hitting like that, but you know what I mean. Other than that, I can't name one guy at that level that's really has that type of power.
Jared Anderson's definitely got knockout power, and I think he's a better combination puncher than Wilder.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know if he still has that one shot power. That
one shot,
exactly.
Because I've seen him fight a couple people where I was unsure if they were ever going to fight again. Like the second Bermain-Stavern fight, when Stavern was just pretty much dead. The second Ortiz fight.
Oh my God.
Dominic Breazeale. I thought he killed Dominic Breazeale, bro. And all those, like, two of those happened in the first round. And then the Helenius fight, the first round. Like nobody else is doing shit like that unless, yeah, they're fighting, you know, like their first 20 fights against opponents rather than like actual contenders and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that he's insane. And it would have been a big upset if Helenius beat him, but it didn't happen. And we had a few upsets of this year. One big one that stands out for sure, and it's probably going to be yours, but we'll get into a couple of them. What's your upset of the year?
I don't know.
This is just saying for you. I had Edwin De Los Santos and El Rayo.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Actually, that's not the one. That's not the obvious one I was going to, but that's a good one.
Yeah, I actually also had that I was thinking about that I forgot it was like the beginning of 2022. I had Hector Garcia, Chris Colbert too. I thought that was a big upset too.
Yeah, see, I'm with you. I thought that fight was last year. I forgot it was February.
I had to look it up. It was February 22. I had to look it up too. I thought it seems like a long time ago now, but it was the beginning of 22. So I looked it up. I'm like, yeah, I had got that Hector Garcia. That was a big upset. It was last minute for him. He came in and really whooped Chris Colbert, had him running. So
he won every round.
Round.
And I was talking to Marcus from Ohio Runs Boxing because we brought that up too, and I was like Colbert is a guy that I was saying could possibly beat Shakur if they were to meet at 130. And Garcia went out there. Yeah, dude, I bought into the hype. I bought into the hype too early. I still think he can be a very good fighter. I don't think
no, for sure.
But I think he maybe has to focus a little bit more and really, because we haven't seen him since. We have no idea what he's like now. And he was getting a lot of hype. He was getting big publicity, and he didn't just, it's not like he lost a split decision to a journeyman. He got dominated by a guy that nobody knew who got like filled in the last second, you know. But you know, Dominicans, man, they're really coming on strong for boxing because he won. The guy you already mentioned, De Los Santos, he's Dominican. There's a dude in the middleweight division. I wish more people would talk about him, but Carlos Adames is a bad motherfucker, bro.
Carlos Adonis.
I know that name. I haven't seen too much of him though.
He just knocked out Montiel, the same guy that Jamal Charlo last fought.
Okay.
Yeah,
He
okay.
fucking beat the hell out of him. And
I probably seen
The
that.
highlight somewhere. I probably fucking posted it or some shit. I don't know.
if I find it, I'll send it to you. But the Dominican guys are nasty. But that dude that fought Rayo, I had never heard of him before.
Me either.
And it's not like he had to come from behind and score like a crazy knockout. Like he beat the shit out of him a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
He was
Working, bro, like knocking him around.
Yeah. And Rayo was a guy that they were talking about to be like a future champ, possibly. They were putting him on the same level as like Frank Martin, Rivera. Like, I'm not saying he can't be good, but dude, he got drops once or twice before, at least rocks 2 or 3 times before he just got put out.
Yeah, because I think it was early too, maybe round 2 or 3 where he dropped him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was just whooping him the whole time, just kind of slapping him around, and I just wasn't expecting that. Just because, like you said, he's coming from that David Benavidez camp. He's training with these guys. I'm thinking he's probably on a steady track like David Benavidez, or they were trying to move him like that, but it just did not work out like that.
Yeah, man, that guy, and I want to see who that guy fights next too, because he looked sharp, like he had skill, like he was like legitimately talented. It wasn't like he was just some guy out there clubbing punches and got lucky with a few. Like he was smooth on his feet, light on his feet. He had good combination punches, good speed, counters. Like I'm excited to see who he fights next too. And we're gonna have to wait till 2023 though. But the upset I was talking about, the obvious one, is when Bivol beat Canelo, because like you said, most people didn't think that was going to happen. But I'm with you. I think odds wise, the Rayo fight had to have been a bigger upset. Maybe not name wise, but definitely like on paper, it had to have been, because like because De Los Santos was just the opponent in that fight. It wasn't like Canelo Bivol was like, yeah, Canelo's fighting a legit undefeated champion, but he's Canelo. Rayos was like, oh, he's fighting this guy. He's got a few fights, but we expect big things out of him in the future. And then he just got fucking obliterated.
Trash.
And then, like you said,
I actually thought about the Canelo Bivol fight for upset of the year too, when I was kind of, when you sent me the questions, and I'm like, yeah, but like I said earlier, like just as boxing fans, we kind of knew the possibilities. You know what I mean? Him moving up in weight, we kind of knew like Bivol's kind of big for him. Like that power might not translate up there. You know what I mean?
And then he's young.
And he's young, and he's hungry, and he's real fundamental. He does not really flash. He just does things right. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what he did, and just came out and had a fundamental night and got the job done.
He's got a great coach too.
yeah,
Great camp. Joel Diaz, shout out to him. And 2023 should be a big year for Bivol, because I think he's like firmly planted as not a superstar, but he's a star in the sport. Just because of this year alone. I mean, he's your fighter of the year. But moving to 2023, moving the show there as well, we got a bunch of fights that are already made. A bunch of fights are already announced. 2 of the big ones we got the Tank Davis fight in jeopardy, possibly, because of the unfortunate arrest last night. We have no idea what's going to come from that. And then Charlo Sue just got canceled. So the fights that we already knew were happening, some are in jeopardy, but at least my personal fight that I'm most looking forward to is not in jeopardy, knock on wood. But what fight are you most excited about in 2023 that we already know is going to happen?
Know it's going to happen. Shit. Well, I'm pretty sure Devin Haney and Lomachenko are going to fight next. I'm fairly certain that's next.
And Bob Arum, I think, came out and said that the other day. Devin Haney's next fight will be against Lomachenko, but we don't have a date yet. Hopefully March.
Right. So I'm fairly certain that's next. I'm really excited for that. I'm a huge Loma fan, but I'm also Huge Devin Haney fan, but when I really started watching boxing, Loma was kind of like the first one of the first like newer superstars that I came across, and I obviously just love the footwork like everybody else. He just does some great things, so I'm excited for that one. Obviously, hoping for the Tank Ryan. Obviously, we have to see how things play out with Javante. See if he's even able to do the Hector Garcia. But if that doesn't happen, I'm hoping the whole card isn't canceled. I wouldn't mind seeing if they just move Jerron Ennis up for the main as the headliner if Tank can't fight and still use that card. That's still a great card, regardless, if Tank's on it or not. So if they move Jerron Ennis up for the main event, I'm really excited. I'm always excited to watch Jerron Ennis. Definitely one of my favorites. So
yeah, I think he's the future of the sport. I think.
Oh my God.
Within 2 years, it's going to be between him and Shakur about who the consensus #1 fighter in the world is. But yeah, my personal pick was one we already brought up, was Plant versus Benavidez. I'm excited for that fight. But the Tank Ryan fight, that's the biggest fight, or one of the biggest fights in boxing for a reason. They're both undefeated. They hate each other. They're stars and they're talented. It's like got all the makings of like a huge fight in boxing, like one that they would talk about for a while because of who they are. And yeah, what was the other one that you brought up? I'm sorry. Oh, Loma and Haney. Yeah,
yep.
And it's a good time too because Loma's getting older, but he ain't too old. You know what I'm saying? Right. He just beat the shit out of Comey 2 fights ago, and like it's Haney's at that point too where he don't get the respect that I think a lot of the other guys get, and it's crazy because he's so good, and it's just I don't know what it is why he doesn't. Maybe lack of knockouts, I guess, because it's not like he's boring, and it's not like he's fighting nobodies every fight. But I would say he has a better resume on paper than Ryan for sure.
A lot of people, bro.
A lot of people, yeah.
And it's just because he's not knocking him out that he gets, or because he got wobbled for a fucking few seconds against Linares.
Linares, yeah. But Linares is a good fight, and he won that fight. And Linares is a great win. That's a great resume fight. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's it's not like these other guys have looked invincible. Tank was losing the Barrios fight. Tank. Ooh. A lot of people thought Tank lost the Isaac Cruz fight. Ryan got dropped, like fucking dropped bad by Luke Campbell, who definitely doesn't have punching power like that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so Linares dropped Loma. Shit.
Yeah.
So shit. I mean,
he's so fast too.
Yeah.
Linares is a fast one.
Going back to Devin Haney, barely any. I think a couple like of the pound for pound list have Devin Haney on it, and he's undisputed at one of the best weight classes in the sport. You know what I mean? I thought that was weird. Even if he's number 10, you know what I mean? I thought he deserved to be in like these big name Ring Magazine, ESPN. Yeah. None of these guys have Devin Haney in their pound for pound, and he's the undisputed champion. You know what I mean? So I thought that was weird.
And I was talking about it with somebody else too. Like a lot of people don't really think about it, but when he fought the first Kambosos fight for undisputed, he had to go to Australia to do it, and he didn't even know if his dad would be able to make it, who's also his trainer. So it's like a few weeks before the fight, you're training for the fight, you're having to do interviews every fucking day to promote the fight. You're tired because you just shifted crazy amounts of time zones. You're probably hungry because he's a big dude for 135 and has to cut a lot of weight, and he has no idea if his trainer is going to be able to be there for the fight, who's also his dad. And so it's like there's a lot going into that, and then to go out there and he just beat the shit out of him twice. Kambosos, there's no way he won a round that Devin didn't take off. You know what I'm saying? Like the only time he won rounds was because Devin was just taking time off.
Right. He's just recovering some stamina, or he's just like, just like you said, just taking a round off. Like,
and look, I'm going to be real. I don't think Kambosos is one of the top 5 fighters in the division.
No.
He still did beat Teofimo. He still was undefeated. He still beat legitimate, decent fighters like Selby and stuff. Yeah. And to get completely just dismantled twice you gotta give credit to that. Even if he was a big favorite, you still, Tiafimo was a big favorite against him too. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that was that. I'm definitely looking forward to those fights as well. And fights that, I mean, Spence Crawford, everybody's hoping for that to happen all the time, or like Canelo versus Charlo. What fight that we don't like, it's not rumored, like we don't know anything about it yet, definitely not signed. What fight do you most hope gets made this upcoming year?
Obviously,
Spence Crawford, obviously. That's what I put down, but it's a lot of. I wouldn't mind seeing a winner of Devin Haney Loma go fight Shakur. Obviously, we need Shakur to get some fights at 135 first before. I know Top Rank's not going to throw him in there right away. I know he need to get some fights at 135 first, but I wouldn't mind seeing that winner. Maybe the tail end of 23 or something. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder either. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fight that's what, 6-7 years in the fucking making.
You know what I'm saying? Both
have 3 losses now, right?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. It's perfect fight. Both still at the top of the sport in the division. I mean, it's not too many big name heavyweights, but both of those guys are the guys in the sport. You know what I mean? Besides Tyson Fury, so.
Put that fight in the UK and watch how big of an event it is.
Bro, come on.
Now, that'd be crazy.
You could probably sell out 100,000 seats if you did that.
Hell yeah.
How big is the O2? I'm not sure how many it fits, but I'm sure it's probably close to about 80.
I would love the fight to be in Vegas or New York or something, but like you got to call a spade a spade. The fight would be massive in England, way bigger than it would be here. Mm-hmm. And like they would still, like, they know so much about the sport already that it's not like Wilder would be that, like when Tyson Fury just fought Chisora, or when he fought Dillian White, yeah, sure, like a lot of people were there for White and Chisora, but they were still just the guy that Joshua was fighting. If it's Joshua Wilder, it's Joshua Wilder to them as well. Right. Like, it's a huge fight. But yeah, it's a good time to make it too, because it's not like either one of them have very much longer in the sport anyway. Mm-hmm. Like Wilder's older.
And then like you said,
it's not a lot of opportunity for a belt either, unless Tyson's going to let him, or Usyk, or going to release some of these belts. It's not really a lot of opportunity. So I think to get back to that championship level, or trying to get back to a belt, I think they kind of need to fight, because obviously, I'm hoping for this too, Tyson Fury Usyk. Hope maybe we'll get that and see if we can get a huge champion at heavyweight, and then maybe one of those guys can fight him, the winner of that, or something like that. I think it's like a good like timeline of story that could go along with these 4 guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a weight class too, where it's like there's so many fighters in it now, like with Ruiz and Joyce and Jared Anderson, that like you have like. It's not like you're starving for names like you were in the Klitschko era, because it seemed like every Klitschko fight was Klitschko versus whoever. But now you can make like legitimately good matchups, and that's one of the biggest ones. It's top 2, I would say, like behind Fury Usyk. That's the only fight I think is bigger than maybe Fury Joshua. But if Anthony Joshua beats Deontay Wilder, which I'm not sure he would, I wouldn't put money on him to, but if he were to, that fight with Joshua or with Fury becomes massive, and it already is, bro. It's just I don't know. It's the same thing in boxing as it always is. Always great fights to be made, and we're just hoping they get made. And Spence Crawford is just another example of that. It's annoying, and there's just Crawford's not doing himself any favors. I don't pick a side in that shit, because I think both are fantastic fighters, and I enjoy watching both, and I enjoy seeing how good both are. But Crawford's not doing himself any favors, because he's only getting older. And I don't know, like it seems like Spence took the Keith Thurman route. He was fighting everybody, and then now he barely fights at all. Like I know like he can't control the accidents and shit, but it's shitty to see that, like when that happens. I hope it don't happen to Boots. I really, and we still already barely see Boots, but it's like, I don't know. I that's one fight I hope gets made this year. Jerron Boots Ennis versus any top 5 guy.
Any of them, bro.
Any of them.
But you know,
It is not. I obviously I think Boots is a top 3 guy at 147 right now.
Yeah, so do I.
But
I think he's number 1. I'm
yeah,
that crazy.
if I'm being honest, I think he's number 1. I just can't say he beats these guys because nobody wants to fight him. He doesn't have a huge name because nobody wants to fight him. And just like we were saying, like it's just so risky for these guys because it's like it's really high risk, low rewards. Like he doesn't have a belt. The casual boxing fan probably doesn't know who he is. You know what I mean? So is it gonna, how much money is they gonna make from it? You know what I mean? And I might lose. So it's like, is Errol or any of these top 5 147 guys gonna give him a chance before they move up to 154? Because I know if Errol Spence and Bud don't fight, eventually they're gonna just go ahead and go to 54. I'm assuming, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it seems too like a lot of the holdup with Boots too, because they've been moving him along. I don't want to say slowly, but gradually, because everything's where everybody's waiting for Spence versus Crawford. So it's like they don't want to promote Boots too heavily because they're going to be like, well, fuck that fight, give me Boots versus them. So it's like they're bringing them along slowly or gradually, which is okay, but it's like now we're at the point where it's like, all right, okay, Crawford and Spence need to figure shit out. Fine. What's up with Keith Thurman? How much is it going to cost to get Virgil Ortiz? You know what I'm saying? Like when does Ugas come back? Like I don't want to see Boots versus Lipinets and Delorme every fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And those are good fighters, but it's like
when you fight a guy like
enough,
that,
bro. Yeah. Yeah, we get it, bro. He's a legit contender now because those are fights you get when you're in between prospect and contender status. Like you're no longer a prospect. You're beating some good guys. But are you a contender? Like, let's see if you can beat Lipinets. Let's see if you can beat Castillo Clayton. And he walks through them. Hasn't lost like a second of the fight.
Man.
So now it's like, okay, step it up, and it's just you're wasting everybody's time. And I don't even know who this guy is that he's fighting. That could be me. Like, you could call me an idiot in the comments, whatever. I don't know who that guy is. I've never heard of him.
Never heard of him. I looked him up. He is ranked fairly high in the sanctioning bodies, like, you know what I mean? But not sure who he is. Haven't seen any highlights. I have seen him training with some pretty good. I think him training with Better Beef. I think he probably has a decent camp. But I'm expecting if the fight happens, I'm hoping, like we said earlier, I'm hoping the whole card doesn't dissolve. But like I said, I don't see any signs that Duran Ennis is going to have a tough time. You know what I mean?
And the only fighters I would be unsure of him beating are Spence and Crawford.
That's it.
But I would still put money on him, especially if he was the underdog. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm putting money on him. Like against Thurman, I think he gets Thurman out of there. I think he gets Ugas out of there.
Oh, Ugas is out of there. He's putting Ugas out. Especially, I've seen some footage of Ugas sparring Shakur, and Shakur was going to work. So really? I know Duran, and I know Duran Ennis would just put some work on him. So I don't know.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because they're still. I don't know. Do you watch the UFC at all?
Yeah,
I don't watch it often, but like my best friend's into it, so I know about it a little bit. Like I would say, for us, for boxing fans, Boots is our like Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah.
We're like this just new guy.
He's coming up. He's watching everybody.
Yeah, freakishly talented, and he's undefeated. Yeah, but like I said, like. This brings me to the next question. We might have the same answer. It's just the logistics of the scheduling. But a fighter that's not yet a champion or not currently a champion, but you think they will be by the end of 2023.
Same answer, man. Boots probably. Yeah.
If he just got to get the fight. He's just got to get the fight.
He just got to get the fight. Either Spence and Crawford move up and he whoops somebody for a vacant, or he fights one of them for a belt. And honestly, I think he wins. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard to say. Like I said, he hasn't fought anybody of that caliber, and I understand what people are saying. But the talent is there, man. It's definitely there to hang with these guys. At least go 12 with them. So,
But it's
you
like,
know,
like we fall in love with, everybody falls in love with power. If you got a guy that's got knockout power, that's the first thing you fall in love with. But dude, he's got defense. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside because his jab is fantastic. He can
man,
switch hit. He
he
can.
switched in.
bro.
It's bro. Yeah, he's like when it comes to like fight like a raw talent skill set, he has brought something that I've never seen that effective before. Like with that versatile and that effective. It's nuts, bro. But yeah, it's just we're waiting for him to become champion. He's got to get the fight.
Yeah.
And
Another guy, I mean, obviously he was a champion at 130. But I think Shakur will be a champion at 135. I don't think Haney will be there for much longer. Like you said, he's a big 135er. I don't think he'll be there for too much longer. He might go to 140 at the end of 2023. If that happens and those belts become available, I think Shakur easily gets one of those, if not 2 or 3 before the end of the year. You know what I mean?
yeah, and that's a fun weight class too. No, but that's another guy. Nobody wants to fucking fight him. 3 guys have turned down fights with him in like the last month.
And I do think
Jermaine Ortiz wants to fight him. The guy that just fought Loma, I think that's a good fight to start off at 135. Tough matchup.
It is, but it's like if that kid takes 2 straight losses, Ortiz,
yeah,
like you kind of, because like remember when like Jose Zepeda lost to Jose Ramirez and nobody really knew who Zepeda was, but he had a really good performance. A lot of people thought he should have won. They threw him in there with Pedraza, his very next fight, and it was the same situation, and he ended up beating the shit out of Pedraza. Like I wouldn't mind seeing them giving Diaz like another like competent 135 pounder where it's like a 50-50 fight, but I think you could possibly lose out on a young fighter who could be useful to you if you give him Shakur right away, because I think Shakur fucking kills him, to be honest.
Oh no,
without a doubt,
he wins that fight for sure.
Yeah,
without a doubt. I liked how Jermaine Ortiz, he performed with Loma. I thought he did some real good things with Loma. He definitely held his own in there, and he hit Loma with some good shots. But obviously, Loma, the veteran he is, pulled it out. But like we said, I don't think Loma beat Shakur. I don't think Jermaine Ortiz, beat Shakur. But we still just need to get him a fight at 135. Somebody's got to fight him.
Yeah, somebody's gotta. That's what sucks, because at that weight class, Top Rank don't really have nobody. The one guy they did have moved up, Tio. But yeah, man, he really needs a fight. And Diaz too. People forget, bro. He retired Jamel Herring. Like he took it to Jamel Herring.
Oh man.
Yeah. Shout out to Simplify.
Yeah. He straight up
whooped Jamel Herring. I was a big Jamel Herring fan too. I really like Jamel Herring just as a person, as a fighter. I just think he's a real cool dude. But going into that fight, I already knew the outcome of the fight. But it was just like, damn, man, seeing my guy Jamel go out like this, I just didn't like it.
Oh shit. I wasn't even talking about Shakur. I was talking about Diaz, because Diaz took it to Haney or to Herring as well. But no, yeah, Shakur, yeah, that looked like, oh man, that was.
Oh, you talking about Jojo Diaz?
No, the guy that just fought Loma, he beat Jamel Herring. He was Herring's last fight.
Oh no, Jermaine Ortiz. Yeah.
My bad. Did I say Diaz?
You said Diaz. I'm like, oh,
my bad.
Which Diaz? But no. Yeah,
I'm not racist,
he did.
I promise.
No, he did. He definitely retired Jamel Herring. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he really stepped.
I was talking about Shakur and Jamel Herring, but yeah, Shakur.
Yeah, no, Shakur fucking. Oh my god, and that was crazy too, because that was right after Herring knocked out Frampton.
Yeah, Frampton
retired him.
Yeah, and I didn't think Herring was going to beat Shakur, but I thought he would at least test him a little bit. Nobody tests him. I thought Valdez would test him more. He just embarrassed Valdez.
Oh my god, just whoop Oscar, man. Just embarrassed Oscar out there. I thought Oscar was going to be, like you said, the tough test we finally get for Shakur. You know what I mean? A champion. I'm thinking he's going to give him 12 rounds. Well, he did, but it was a whooped ass 12 rounds. Basically, is what I'm saying.
I think I gave him 2 rounds, maybe. It was not close though.
I just actually saw that after clip.
just scrolling up the timeline, and Valdez's face was just punished, and Shakur just walked out looking clean, just ready to
Yeah,
go, and you know what I mean. I'm like, damn,
bro.
but
I
he's just
love
really
watching
hard to
Shakur
hit.
fight. He is, and he fights so long. Like the way he leans back, his jab, he
Mm-hmm.
fights so long. It's impressive and it's fun to watch, bro.
A
I,
lot of
I
people call Shakur boring, like the same style Devin Haney. I'm like, bro, like these guys are like the real deal. Like,
do you know why people call him boring though? Because the fighters they like call him boring. So
yeah,
they talk shit with their fighter. That's all they
yeah.
do.
I'm like, bro, come on now, bro. You can like to watch Shakur go against these high level guys and not get touched is crazy. Like, it's crazy. And then like he just like I think I don't know if you've seen his stat, but like his stat for like the amount of times he's hit somebody versus the amount of times he's been hit is like 1,500 to like 100 and some or some
Yeah.
crazy ass stat. I'm like, damn.
And he gets hit the least amount of times per round out of any active boxer too.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's the real deal. And he's not like
definitely.
he fucks people up. I don't know why people think he's boring. It's because he
I
doesn't
don't
get
get it.
it's because he doesn't get tested. That's not his fault. What do you want him to do? Like let
Right.
his defense down a little bit? So you're entertained. Then fuck out of here. And if you don't run, I don't know. I'm weird though because one of my top 5 favorite fighters of all time is Erislandy Lara, and people
Yeah,
are
yeah.
like,
I like Laura. Yeah.
every time I see that, people are like,
The
why?
top five.
I was gonna ask you too. Top five. Why top five?
I don't know, man. I just he's another one of those guys. His story's dope. His style's dope. I don't care what anybody says. He throws one of the most beautiful punches in boxing. Like his 1-2 from the southpaw stance and pivot out, his footwork, like the dude was like he was a bad motherfucker. It's just the same thing. Nobody would fight him. And when people would
Mm-hmm.
fight him, he wouldn't get the decision. Like I think he beat Canelo. He definitely beat Paul Williams, and those are 2 losses on his record. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And by the time people would fight him, his legs had gone a little bit, and he's having to fight in the pocket more. So that's he lost to Hurd. If he fought Hurd 3 or 5 years prior, he doesn't lose a round of that fight.
Mm-hmm.
And Jared Hurd is good. That's no
Jared
disrespect
Hurd's a
to Jared
dog.
Hurd,
Yeah, I
but
was about to say Jared Rose, a dog.
Erislandy Lara at his height is one of the best fighters I've ever seen in my life. But like I said, I'm weird. Prospects though, because we got like Lara's old, he's on his way out, but we got a lot of young fighters. This is like the most like talent I've seen in young fighters at any point like in a long time. And Top Rank's got a shit ton of them with like Tiger and Jared Anderson and Shushu. Golden Boy's got like Floyd Schofield and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Who's a prospect like that you most look forward to seeing improve next year?
Yeah,
Obviously, you said Floyd.
Schofield, he's definitely one of them. Obviously, I think everybody's got their eye on Keyshawn Davis right now.
Yeah.
As a prospect, you know what I mean? Obviously, he's doing big things, silver medal in the Olympics. He's just one of those guys that I think they're going to try to fast track, you know what I mean, to becoming what they want, a star, you know what I mean, a star in the sport. Another guy, I know you commented on this not too long ago, Emiliano Vargas. He's working.
Yeah.
It was one more, Abdullah Mason. I think Abdullah
Abdullah's
Mason is a dog, bro. I think out of the top, out of that top ranked stable, they have a lot of guys. He's probably, bro, he has to be,
if not the most,
but one of the most skilled and like I think like ready to start moving as well. So I'm excited to see all those guys.
Yeah, Mason's dope. I love Emiliano Vargas, not just because he signed to Adams, but he's a dope. He's dope as fuck.
No, he's sweet. Yeah, I fuck with him, Emiliano.
The guy we were talking about earlier from the DMV, Terrence or Trayvon Marshall. I almost said Terrence Marshall, like the wide receiver. No, Trayvon Marshall or Trayvon. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I don't know, but I think that dude, he's another dude. He fights a lot like Boots. He doesn't switch stances, but from southpaw, he fights like there's similarities to Boots, and he's a bad motherfucker. Dude that Jake Paul got, the young kid.
Oh yeah, he would go
Ashton Silva or something.
Silv, yeah.
I'm excited to see he's a dog too. Yeah,
because it's so stupid. A lot of people are giving him shit because because he signed to Jake Paul and he fights on the Jake Paul cards. A lot of people think he's like a YouTuber or a TikTok guy.
I'm like, no, bro.
No, he's like a legit amateur turned pro. Like he's only 18 and he's like the guy he just knocked out. Granted, was coming off of like over a year of inactivity, but or whatever it was. But that guy did rounds with Garcia. You know, and Silv just fucking killed him. Yeah, Abdullah Mason. Another heavyweight. He's very raw. I don't think he's ready to fight anyone too high yet because I think he's got some work to do. But I do think he's talented. Is Richard Torres? The other heavyweight on Top Rank.
Yeah.
I just feel like we're forgetting some people, man. Top Rank does a great job promoting their younger guys, though, like Shushu and Troy Isley and Tiger Johnson. They do a really good job promoting their young guys. Keyshawn,
Xander's eyes is coming real hard.
Yeah, even then, man. I mean, because I remember before they were trying to shove Berlanga down our throat.
Man, then he put out 2 like straight back-to-back underwhelming performances. Now it's like, where is he at?
Yeah,
where is he at? Now, I would like to see is him and another prospect. I'm really excited to, while we're still on this one, is Diego Pacheco.
Pacheco's nice.
Yeah, Pacheco's been balling,
and he's been really doing his thing. I actually got the chance to see him in person. I went to the Chocolatito Estrada fight, like in Arizona live. I went to go watch that one. I got to watch him in person. So he whooped the guys. Yeah, it was fun to watch him in person. And I think him and Edgar Berlanga, obviously Edgar's a little slightly more experienced. He has a bigger name, whatever. But I think Pacheco could give him some problems in there.
Pacheco's more refined, more technical.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy at that
real tall.
Yeah, he's tall as shit. A guy who's not tall in that weight class, though, he's got less than 10 fights, but I definitely wouldn't call him like a prospect anymore. Bektamir Melikuziev is fucking frightening.
I know that name.
He only had like 5 or 6 fights. He was supposed to fight Kovalev, and then Kovalev tested positive for testosterone, like illegal testosterone. And Bektamir was like, can I still fight him? And then he ended up getting knocked out by Gabriel Rosado.
I know you're talking about. I know you're talking about.
He was beating the shit out of Gabriel leading up to that, and he was just going in reckless. And he's got the same trainer as Bivol. Him and Bivol train together. He's nasty though. He's an Olympic silver medalist as well out of Uzbekistan. But he's another guy that, like, I wouldn't call him a prospect, even though he has less than 10 fights. But he's another dude in that weight class that's gonna, if he gets the fights, he's gonna fuck some people up.
No, I know you talk about now when you say Gabe Rosado, like he's smaller, like compact looking guy.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
That motherfucker is talented though.
He can fight, has a lot of power. He whoops dudes.
And he's quick and he's got good footwork. But that's it for our awards and like what we're looking forward to, man. This has been a fun conversation. It's cool to have you on here. I love being able to collab with like the other boxing pages. Guys, he's been my guest. His name's TJ out of Detroit. He runs the page The Boxing Syndicate on Instagram, all one word. Check out his videos on TikTok. It's TBS Boxing. Give him a follow. Look, if you're new to boxing or old boxing fan, the highlights he posts, the clips he posts, you'll never get tired of them. It'll make you fall in love with the sport or keep loving it. So give him a follow. Check out his page. Bro, it's been really fun to have you on here, man. I really appreciate it.
Definitely, bro. I appreciate you for having me on, bro. I really do. Also, I just started doing like interviews and shit, like with the local guys around Detroit, the local boxers around Detroit. I got probably got like 4 or 5 interviews up right now. My YouTube is Syndicate Talk. So definitely go check that out and subscribe. I got more interviews on the way. I meant to say that one from the beginning, but that's like the main one I'm trying to push right now. Yeah, so Syndicate Talk on YouTube. Definitely give me a subscribe on there. I got more interviews on the way with some Michigan guys and other guys in the sport. And I'm definitely just trying to push out more content and get more comfortable on camera. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
Have you interviewed G Baby yet? Gordy Russ?
Nope. But I actually like when COVID first started, I was actually training at Tony Harrison's gym, and Gordy was my trainer, so I know Gordy very
Really?
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gordy's dope, man. He's another cool guy, and I love that he reps Kronk.
yeah.
I have like 4 or 5 Kronk shirts because I'm a huge Kronk fan. So I love when I get to
hmm
see like the Kronk shit in the ring still. But yeah, Gordy's good, man.
No, Gordy's really good. Now I know Gordy very well. Gordy's my dog, and then he also has obviously he's training out of Tony Harrison's gym. That's obviously they got a crazy environment in there. Obviously Tony's in there. Alicia Baumgartner's in there. Tony's brother LJ is a great trainer. He trains most of the athletes in the state. So they got a really great camp in there. And then he has fucking Sugar Hill in his corner, Tyson Fury's coach. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to watching Gordy. He actually fights this weekend, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in action.
Yeah, shout out to him. I'm a fan. I haven't met him yet. I haven't got the chance to interview him yet, but I'm definitely a fan of Gordy. He's very talented, man. And I like watching him fight. But yeah, so you said it's called Syndicate Talk on YouTube?
Yep.
All right, cool. Let me make sure I'm gonna subscribe to that shit right now. Give him a sub on YouTube as well, guys. But man, I thank you so much for coming out here, man. Hopefully we can do this again.
Oh yeah, definitely, bro. I'm always down. Just let me know. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, guys, go ahead and follow the Boxing Syndicate. All right, this is the end of the year show. Punchlines, Box TBS. We're out.